CDL Practice Test, California, General Knowledge, Part 13. Question number 307. The reaction distance is the distance traveled from the time A. the eyes see a hazard to the time the brain knows that it is a hazard. B. the brain tells the foot to push the brake pedal to the time the foot actually pushes the pedal. C. the eyes see a hazard to the time the foot pushes the brake pedal. The correct answer is here, B. The brain tells the foot to push the brake pedal to the time the foot actually pushes the pedal. Explanation. Total stopping distance is the sum of your perception distance, how far your vehicle goes from when you see the hazard until your brain processes it. Reaction distance, how far the vehicle goes from when your brain orders your foot to take action until your foot actually starts to brake. And braking distance, how far the vehicle continues to travel once you apply the brake. An average driver's perception time is about 1.3/4 seconds. His or her reaction time is between 3/4 second and 1 second. Open bracket. Note, 55 miles per hour is equal to about 81 feet per second. At this speed, a reaction time of 3/4 second is equivalent to a reaction distance of 61 feet. Question number 308. The most common cause of serious vehicle skids is A. poorly adjusted brakes, B. bad tires, C. poorly designed roads, D. driving too fast for road conditions. The correct answer is here, D. driving too fast for road conditions. Explanation. A skid happens whenever the tires lose their grip on the road. Most serious skids result from driving too fast for road conditions. Drivers who adjust their driving to conditions don't over-accelerate and don't have to overbrake or oversteer from too much speed. Question number 310. Which of these is a danger of crossing railroad tracks or dirt roads? A. Your tires could sink into the dirt and not cross the tracks. B. The ground underneath the tracks might not be stable. C. You could get hung up halfway across. The correct answer is here, C. You could get hung up halfway across. Explanation. Many drivers forget about the space under their vehicles. That space can be very small when a vehicle is heavily loaded. This is often a problem on dirt roads and in unpaved yards. Don't take a chance on getting hung up. Drainage channels across roads can cause the ends of some vehicles to drag. Cross such depressions carefully. Railroad tracks can also cause problems, particularly when pulling trailers with a low underneath clearance. Don't take a chance on getting hung up halfway across. Question number 312. You are driving in the right lane of a 4-lane, undivided road. Traffic is heavy. You come around a curve and then you notice a hazard ahead in your lane. You don't have enough room to stop. What should you do? A. Steer into the left lane. B. Brake hard and brace for collision. C. Steer to the right. The correct answer is here, C. Steer to the right. Explanation. If you are approaching a hazard and are unable to stop in time, the safest maneuver is usually to bypass it on the right, even if it means moving onto the shoulder. If you steer to the left in heavy traffic, you could collide with another vehicle or force it into oncoming traffic. Question number 313. Where or when should you test the stopping action of your service brakes? A. At a special brake testing center only. B. When the vehicle is moving at about 5 miles per hour. C. In the parking lot when the vehicle is not moving. The correct answer is here. B. When the vehicle is moving at about 5 miles per hour. Explanation. To test the service brakes, do the following. Wait for normal air pressure. Release the parking brake. Move the vehicle forward at about 5 miles per hour, and apply the brakes firmly. Check whether the brakes stop your vehicle promptly, and note any abnormal signs such as your vehicle pulling to one side. Question number 314. Which of these is not caused by rough acceleration? A. Tire damage. B. Damage to the coupling. C. Mechanical damage. The correct answer is here. A. Tire damage. Explanation. The sudden jerk from rough acceleration can cause mechanical damage. For example, it can damage the coupling if you're pulling a trailer. Question number 315. Which of these statements is not true about bad weather driving conditions? A. Driving conditions become more dangerous as the temperature rises to the point where ice begins to melt. B. As rain continues, the road becomes more slippery than it was when the rain began. C. When the temperature drops, bridges will freeze before roadways. The correct answer is here. B. As rain continues, the road becomes more slippery than it was when the rain began. Explanation. Roads are often at their slipperiest during the first 10 to 15 minutes of rain. This is because the rainwater loosens and mixes with dirt, oil, and other fluids that have built up on the pavement, creating a slick surface. This slippery condition will persist until more rain washes those substances away. Question number 316. If you are stopped at a rest area and found to have a blood alcohol concentration back of 0.02, you will be placed out of service for A. 24 hours, B. 48 hours, C. 72 hours. The correct answer is here. A. 24 hours. Explanation. If you are found to have any detectable back, even if it's under the legal limit, you will be placed out of service for 24 hours. Question number 317. What are the regulations on the height of splash guards, mud flaps? A. They must be no more than 15 inches above the ground when the vehicle is completely unloaded. B. They must be no more than 8 inches above the ground when the vehicle is fully loaded. C. It depends on the state. The correct answer is here. C. It depends on the state. Explanation. Currently, there are no federal regulations governing the height of splash guards, mud flaps. Each state is free to issue its own regulations, and those regulations vary from one state to another. To find out about your state's regulations, check with your state's transportation department. However, you should check that any mud flaps that are installed on your vehicle are securely mounted and in good condition. Question number 318. What does communicating mean in safe driving? A. Driving brightly colored vehicles. B. Using hand signals. C. Letting other drivers know you're there. The correct answer is here. C. Letting other drivers know you're there. Explanation. Other drivers may not always notice you even if you're driving a big vehicle in plain sight. Before passing another vehicle, communicate your presence by tapping your horn lightly or flashing your headlights. In bad weather in the daytime, turn on your headlights to make your vehicle more visible to other road users. Question number 319. What is a vehicle inspection report? A. A report you receive after you have the vehicle serviced. B. A report written by the vehicle owner that notes the condition of the truck and any items that may need to be repaired. C. A signed statement that says you checked the vehicle that day. D. A report written by the driver that notes the condition of the truck and any items that may need to be repaired. The correct answer is here. D. A report written by the driver that notes the condition of the truck and any items that may need to be repaired. Explanation. The vehicle inspection report is a daily log that drivers keep. It includes information regarding the vehicle such as problems and inspections. Question number 320. In relation to impaired driving, what does the acronym BAC stand for? A. Best achievable concentration. B. Badly affected concentration. C. Best achievable control. D. Blood alcohol concentration. The correct answer is here. D. Blood alcohol concentration. Explanation. BAC, blood alcohol concentration, is the amount of alcohol in your bloodstream. The more alcohol is in your bloodstream, the worse your driving will be. Your BAC is affected by the amount drunk, the speed the alcohol was drunk at, and personal weight. Question number 322. The tendency for long commercial vehicles to swing wide on turns is called A. Off-tracking. B. Fishtailing. C. Hydroplaning. The correct answer is here. A. Off-tracking. Explanation. When any vehicle turns, its rear wheels will follow a shorter path than its front wheels. This is called off-tracking or cheating. The longer the vehicle, the greater the difference. In a combination vehicle, the trailer's wheels will off-track more than the tractor's rear wheels. In a double or triple combination vehicle, the wheels of the last trailer will off-track the most. Question number 323. If you are being tailgated, you should A. Flash your brake lights. B. Signal the tailgater when it is safe to pass you. C. Increase your following distance. The correct answer is here. C. Increase your following distance. Explanation. Tailgating is a major cause of rear-end collisions. If you're being tailgated, increase your following distance behind the vehicle ahead of you. That way, if you have to stop or slow down, you can do so gradually, reducing the risk of being rear-ended by the tailgater. It will also make it easier for the tailgater to pass you. Question number 324. Which of these is not a sign of an impaired driver? A. Having a window wide open in cold conditions. B. Stopping at a green light for no reason. C. Weaving across the road. D. Paying attention to a mobile phone. The correct answer here. D. Paying attention to a mobile phone. Explanation. A distracted driver is someone who is engaging in an activity that shifts their focus away from driving, whereas an impaired driver is someone under the influence of alcohol or drugs. If a driver is paying attention to their mobile phone, they are classed as a distracted driver. Some of the many signs of an impaired driver are stopping at a green light for no reason, weaving across the road, or having a window open in cold conditions. Question number 325. Of the following, which are the most critical vehicle items you should check when doing an inspection? A. Food supply. B. Accuracy of supplies in cargo. C. Personal items. D. Tires, brakes, lights. The correct answer is here. D. Tires, brakes, lights. Explanation. Among several other things, critical things to check on vehicle inspection include tires, pressure, tread, brakes and lights. Make sure they all turn on off when needed. Question number 326. What is the minimum tread depth for tires other than front tires? A. 4/32 inch. B. 3/32 inch. C. 2/32 inch. The correct answer is here. C. 2/32 inch. Explanation. Steering axle tires must have a tread depth of at least 4/32 inch. All other tires must have a tread depth of at least 2/32 inch. Question number 327. A GPS device. A. Should be made in the USA. B. Should be designed for truck navigation. C. Should have a screen larger than 4 inches. The correct answer is here. B. Should be designed for truck navigation. Explanation. You should always use a GPS system that is designed for truck navigation. Such a truck-enabled GPS device contains information about truck-restricted roadways and designated routes and takes into account the size of your truck, length, weight, height, and load types as it routes. A truck-enabled GPS device won't direct you onto roads that are unsuitable for your truck or on which trucks are prohibited. Question number 328. If you have been drinking alcohol before you drive, you should A. Wait for it to wear off. B. Take a cold shower. C. Drink coffee. The correct answer is here. A. Wait for it to wear off. Explanation. Your body breaks down alcohol at a predictable rate. Typically, this is 1 standard drink per hour, where 1 standard drink equals 1.5 ounces of hard liquor, 5 ounces of wine, or 12 ounces of beer. Neither coffee nor fresh air nor a cold shower can increase that rate. You need to wait until the alcohol has been broken down. Question number 329. Which of these best describes how you should use the brake pedal on a steep downhill grade? A. With stronger pressure as the vehicle goes downhill. B. Continuous braking as hard as possible without locking the wheels. C. Repeated braking to supplement engine braking. The correct answer is here. C. Repeated braking to supplement engine braking. Explanation. On a long or steep downgrade, don't keep applying your brakes continuously because this might cause them to fade, become less effective. Instead, apply your brakes only as a supplement to engine braking. Use the following technique. Select a safe speed. Let your vehicle reach this speed. Brake just hard enough until you are going 5 miles per hour slower. Then let your speed increase back to the safe speed. Keep varying your speed up and down this way. This technique is known as snub braking or snubbing. Question number 330. To prevent brake fade, you should A. Apply constant hard pressure on the brakes. B. Coast down hills that are not very steep inclines. C. Select a gear that will keep your vehicle at a safe speed on steep downgrades. The correct answer is here. C. Select a gear that will keep your vehicle at a safe speed on steep downgrades. Explanation. If you keep applying the brakes to control your speed on steep downgrades, the brakes may fade, lose their effectiveness. Instead, shift into a low gear. This will generate a braking effect to slow the vehicle, known as engine braking. The lower the gear, the greater the engine braking effect. Apply the brakes only when engine braking is insufficient or you want to stop.